Hotel workers, what is your craziest story? Posted this before. I have a friend that owns a small motel just off a highway. I would hang out with him and chat on some late nights. One night, he got a call that one of the guests heard a loud crash in the room next door. Checked the computer and saw that the room was unoccupied. Friend and I go to check it out. We knock and there is no answer. He opens the door and there was a cat in the room. It knocked over a lamp and smashed it. It was super friendly and came right to us. We took it back to the office and looked at the room records. The prior person that was in the room abandoned the cat when he checked out 3 days earlier. He was already on the other side of the country when we called him, and he said he was not coming back for the cat. My friend took ownership of the cat and now she is the motel cat. She walks all around the property and takes care of any mice or critters. She even has her picture on the wall as one of the employees. Not sure why the maid service did not see it when the room was being cleaned. We think that the vacuum scared the cat and she hid somewhere. Still was a ick move of the old owner to leave the cat behind. Cleaning rooms one summer, entered checkout guest's bathroom and noticed rolled up towels on the floor, pretty common. I start picking them up, hidden underneath, pile of human hit. I open the shower curtain as I begin to smell an overpowering stench of hit. I find at least 10 dumps in the shower, mixed with *ISS. The toilet, clean as *UCK. Doesn't look like it was even used. I quit that day. I used to work at a hotel. I post on these guests often and I always intend on doing so. 3 guests come to mind. Guests wiped in the towels, smeared it on the walls, and laughed at housekeeping when they come in for service. Young lady, who was certainly no lady, stuck her used tampon on the bathroom wall. The blood acted as a glue and cemented itself there. It had to beep right off. Guests left 3-week-old expired milk in the fridge. But they were only in house for 3 days, so that means it was already 2.5 weeks expired when they checked in. Who lugs around rotten milk? I have others, I'll be happy to share. AMA. High-strung cook had an argument with a type bistro attendant. It just kept escalating to a pull-apart brawl when a kitchen knife got involved. The pair crashed through the swinging door and was rolling on the carpet when the regional manager just happened to be walking in. Cops were called. I think both got fired or arrested. I worked in a decent hotel in college, was the night auditor. One night the police came in and went directly to a room around 2 a.m. They escorted a prostitute out and asked to speak to the manager. After they were done speaking with my manager, the officer handed me the phone and she told me to go in and clean up the room. I never made beds or did any of that, so I wasn't sure exactly what she wanted. I went to the room and there was trash everywhere. There were uncapped syringes, used packages that had contained drugs, and general filth everywhere. I called the manager back to tell her that I wasn't touching anything because of the uncapped syringes. They were literally all over the place and I wasn't going to pick up piles of clothes or move blankets. The manager said that if I didn't clean the room I was fired. I said fine. You have a half an hour to get here because I am leaving. I was the only one there overnight. As she pulled into the parking lot a short time later, I walked over to my car, didn't even wait for her to get inside. Lots of hotel guests were in for a conference. One night, about 10:30 p.m., a guy walks down from his room to the bellhop desk in nothing but tightly WHIITIES, a bedsheet wrapped around his body from head to toe, and blood dripping from his face. This guy sounded out of it, either from being concussed, inebriated, high on drugs, or a mix of the 3. He informed security that he and his boyfriend got into a fight. So, 2 security officers, one a supervisor, went to the room to question the other boyfriend, while another security officer waited with the bloodied boyfriend behind the bellhop desk for an ambulance to arrive. Up at the room, security was informed that the bloodied boyfriend had been PSSED out drunk and had wrapped in one of the beds when the other boyfriend had walked into the room with his wife and 2 kids, all of whom had been enjoying a night in the town. Both men were co-workers who were in for the conference. Supposedly, the family man had given the suite room key to his boyfriend with the expectations that they'd do the deed during conference hours, all the while the wife and kids explored the city during the day. Back at the bellhop desk, the security supervisor relays the discovered info to the bloody D boyfriend, which sets the guy off. He tackles the security supervisor to the ground. Blood and rap stained the hotel carpet and the supervisor's suites. He finally cuffed the bloodied boyfriend. Cops are called, and the guy gets taken away before getting inspected by medics. The moral of the story: If you want to cheat on your wife with someone else in a hotel, do your business in the smaller, uglier room, and not the large, expensive suite you share with your family. TLDR, family man catches inebriated boyfriend in crap-stained bed, kicks the boyfriend's half-naked ass, who then proceeds to get his half-naked ass kicked again by the security supervisor. This kind of counts. It wasn't a short-term stay hotel but was built like one, and I was a doorman. I have a few stories from that place. I used to work as a doorman in an apartment complex populated by a number of odd characters. One of them was a woman who was schizophrenic. She lived there on rent SSI stance and got disability payments. Generally, when she was taking her medications, she was still a full bubble off level. Her delusions were all religion-based, with demons and her neighbors casting spells on her through the walls. She cut up the walls and floor with a knife to try to stop the spells. That sort of thing. But every 6 months she needed to get evaluated too. About the middle of the night, a naked woman goes off the 9th floor balcony. I was the first one there and watched her die. She took a few agonal breaths and there was nothing anyone could do as he was pulverized inside. The story was that she and her boyfriend were into bondage games, which I is fine, but he woke up to see she had used a bed sheet to hang herself from the balcony with the other end tied to the leg of a couch. He cut the bed sheet with a butcher knife to save her from hanging, but she fell. She did have a corner of a CUT bedsheet around her neck in a loose half-hitch. It is hard to believe his story, but he was not charged. Keep her SSI stance checks coming. The way this should work is that the caseworker would stop in, see that she is taking her meds, she isn't too crazy, check the box, she keeps the assistance. But Shay didn't see it that way. If the caseworker saw her acting normal, then the caseworker might think she is cured and didn't need the assistance. So she would go off the meds for a few days and then would have an episode. One day she comes to the lobby to tell me that when SHE was in the elevator, Satan raped her in her ass with his tail. I checked the elevator. No Satan, no ectoplasm, no readings on the PKE meter. So then I asked her if she was maybe raped by a man on the elevator. Given the type of residence, we get rapists, mother rapists, father stabbers, father rapists, litterbugs who create a nuisance. It was entirely possible. It took a while, but she told me that it was the actual red-colored Satan with pitchfork, horns, and pointy tail, and it was the actual Satan's tail that raped her in her ass, and she needs to go to the hospital because now she has a demon inside her. So I had to call for an ambulance. Before the EMS crew shows up, 2 cops arrive. One is super annoyed to have to be there. And he is even more annoyed that his partner seems genuinely interested to hear about Satan and the demons and the neighbors casting perverted X spells through the walls to make her orny. EMS arrives and they bring in a gurney and set ITUP. They take her vital signs and tell her that they will take her to the Catholic hospital. The ambulance company probably is getting money for certain referrals, so they are insisting on Catholic. She wants to go to the Jewish hospital, which is not only larger but much closer. There is a standoff between her wanting to go to Jewish and THE crew wanting to go to Catholic. Normally the patient's wishes should be honored, but the EMS crew does not want their boss reaming them over the missed kickback. Finally, the paramedic says, "You got raped by Satan and you have a demon in you, right? Well, then we need to go to Catholic because Jews don't know anything about removing demons and the Catholics do it all the time." So she says, "Okay," and jumps up on the gurney. A couple days later, she is on her meds again. The caseworker gets to see her crazy episode and the checks keep coming for another 6 months. Teenagers in the apartments decided they needed toe-join gangs. So they set up their own local wannabe Crips and Bloods. They put on blue versus red flannel shirts and t-shirts. Then they had a fight. They used pepper spray on each other. The front door opens and in runs a kid in a red shirt, and the back door opens and in runs a kid in a blue shirt. They have tears and snot running down their faces from the pepper spray. I am stuck standing between them as they face off. I just moved out of the way and say, "Go at it." And they both got in the same elevator to run home to mom. What is the fastest way to calm a man down when he's angry? If it's a random drunk man, try and confuse him. Out of nowhere say something really left field. "My garden isn't 10 feet long." Then immediately say something completely different like, "Sorry, you're not the waiter I was expecting." Then just leave before they can make sense of what just happened. Probably varies from man to man, but when I get angry, which is extremely rare, the best thing Toto is walk away and take a break. After even just a few minutes, most of the anger will have passed and I'm ready to talk it out. Appropriately expressed anger? Hear it. Validate it. Sit with it. Inappropriately expressed anger. Not your circus, not your elephant. Remove yourself. I am high anxiety, which shows itself as anger. Form, just give me space. Don't keep pestering me. Let me get over my own hit on my time. One trick I learned when I was a teen managing ATM Donald's. One of my managers there taught me that if you have a loud, angry customer, start out with your voice just a bit softer than theirs. As you talk, lower the volume of your voice more and more. They will tend to lower their volume to match you and tend to calm down as the volume drops. The other side of the equation is that if you are angry with someone, the same trick can be used. It makes you sound the calmer of the two sides in an argument, and can seriously freak out someone if you are the one who is ist and sound calmer phantom. At you? Give him space. Give the man a Snickers.